All right, we'll go ahead and call the Monday, April 19th Utilities Committee meeting to order. First off, before we get going, we do have an update to the agenda. I'd like to move the fourth item, the fourth item from number 4 down to the end of the agenda after the meetings and discussion with the fire departments, because we're going to need to go in a closed session for a portion of that discussion for attorney-client privilege. Correct.
Do you have a statute for that?
You don't have to by law, but it's attorney conflict, yeah.
So is that amendment to the agenda? Make a motion to accept the amendment to the agenda.
Second. All those in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? And next item is the approval of the minutes from the March 1st meeting.
Motion to approve minutes unless there are any amendments to be made.
Second. All right. All those in favor, please say aye. Any opposed? We'll open up for public comments. Do we have anyone sign up for public comments? All right, Dave, it's up to you.
Next item up, the updates on our current utilities projects underway. Y'all are aware we have numerous ones that have started or in the process of getting started. The first one on the list is the Northside pump station. This is the one that will help us serve the new land part of the county. We have the board approved purchasing the land at 1272 Northside Road, I think at the last meeting. And the survey has been done. That is on the works. Green Engineering is getting the information short, probably the first part of this week, to our county attorney so we can go ahead and do that closing, have the land purchase. I've received some preliminary drawings for the temporary pump. We'll be doing a majority of that work, and we'll be subbing it out as far as valves and all. Green Engineering, their survey crew is down here today working on the permanent pump station, which also includes running a 12-inch line from our Commerce Park tank over to the pump station site on Northside Road. They're doing the survey in that. Of course, they're the ones that have the contract to do the design, put out for bid. So after we have the temporary pump station up, then we'll have the permanent one coming in, and we'll take the temporary one out. So that's all moving along. We're also, I think last week, the county manager signed the permits from the state, DWQ, and also DOT as far as driveway access, and to change anytime we change our water system, the state has to have drawings. We have to submit for approval. So that's all been submitted. So that's more or less what's going on with that part of the project.
David, I have a question.
Sure.
So the 8-inch line that runs more or less to the bank, of course, don't we have an 8 up there? That's what we're going to currently tie in across the road, or we're going to run down Highway 17 on the western side?
What we'll do, we'll run a 12 from Commerce Park, go under the highway, and go through Boyce's Drive, and then come up parallel I-8 now that's on north side. They will both, the 12 and the 8 of the permanent pump, will both tie into our pump station. From that point, it's an 8-inch until we get to our meter vault up by the bank. Now, South Mills, they had a 6 on their side of our vault.
Right.
And at this point, we're not changing that. At a later date, once we get the permanent pump in, this will be some other changes we'll make to, after we look at the flows, once we get, it's a series of stages.
So how far are you going to run the 12-inch?
12-inch will run to our pump station.
How many miles is that going to be? 6 miles?
It's 20, I'd have to go back and check my notes. They have it in linear feet, and I might have that contract with me. But let me look up and I'll get back with you.
The reason why I was asking is because if we run it parallel to 8, the question is why would we not be taking that 12 and running it on the,
Okay, the only part that's being run parallel is once we come across Forest Drive
right?
and then go turn north. The only thing to be parallel is really from there.
I'm just wondering why we're not just running right on 17 bypass of that up on the other side of the road where it ties right into your main line.
You trying to run on 17 bypass to current? I believe Green Engineering to discuss with DOT, and they're not going to let us run on the right of way of the bypass. We're crossing under it, but we cannot. I know we cannot do it on the bypass, which would be like from Walmart back this way. But I know DOT said they're not going to let us
That
run.
would mean we'd have to have landowner permission to do that. Right. The other, so when you get to the bank, are we gonna, well, to that where our pump station is that gonna pick up at an 8? Or are you gonna take an 8 and have a variable speed for a 12?
The variable speed will be at the pump station.
Because you got 2 different volumes of water. That's why I was
Right,
that's
exactly.
variable speed.
Exactly. We also will pull that meter out, which is there now. Once we get the permanent pump station, we'll pull that meter, the existing meter out, because the meter will be at the pump station.
So David, the next time we have a meeting, if you could just do a video, just to drive the line,
Sure.
drive the pipeline for us, so we can kind of follow along when we have these meetings like this.
Okay.
And a map up there on the wall would be
So you can see what we're doing.
kind of follow along with what you're proposing.
Okay.
Thank you, Chairman.
All right.
Any other comments on the topic? I did too.
It does help, Tom.
Going over here drawing, sketching out. All right, go on.
Okay. Reverse osmosis edition. Next week, the 29th, Jonathan Horn RO Systems out of Venice, Florida, will be again at the RO plant. They're the ones who designed our RO system that was put in online in 2012. They've been contacting. They'll be here for about a day and a half to start looking at the additional training, over 1 million gallon training to start legwork with that, the needs of what we'll have to do. So they're scheduled to be here next week. So our next meeting, I should have you some information on how that meeting. Wellfield studies. This is the RO and also the Weasel wellfield study that's been approved. I met with Dr. Richard Spruill of Ground Management Associates on Thursday the 8th of this month in Greenville. That was in about 2.5 hours. They were the ones who did the original study of our RO fields and also the Weasel fields. Not originally with the Weasel, but they have looked at it in previous times. A real good meeting. I think Dr. Spruill is one of the top in his field. I think Lord probably remember him well. And he gave me some really good insights on what we can do. And we can use our existing land, just a little few things. We can use our existing lands. Actually, some of the wells that we had drilled and we had abandoned, he recommended to me that we can go back on that site and actually use them. So we don't have to purchase land. We have the infrastructure in place on some of them. The other very interesting thing he brought up to me, in underground there's different aquifers. Our 2 well fields, there's Yorktown Aquifer, and then we have Castle Haynes, which the RO's in. And there's another one, there's several ones deeper. And he did a recommendation and that we could actually sit and put 2 wells on one land into different aquifers. Go to different depths of the drilling. They seem to be doing that now. So there's a lot of options we have out there, and they'll do a study and they'll do a board presentation of what they would recommend to us.
So David, where we're now, we're at 600 feet. The shallow wells are at the 200.
We're actually about 350.
350, but our shallow wells are 200, 150.
At Weasel,
Yeah.
some of them are only 100.
100 feet.
Yeah.
So is that where you would think if we did the upgrade to the Weasel plant, being able to use that same land and put a second deeper well on those tracks?
As long as, we won't be able to do that at the Liesel plant until we change that to a nanofiltration
Right, we
system.
understand, but I'm
But
just
that
thinking
would be an
the
option once we
future
switch
thought,
that up, yes.
Instead of having to convert or take water from the western site and transport it over or pipe it over there, that makes us a more efficient water system by being able to pump on our current site and use our current lines in the
Yeah, the infrastructure we pay for is in place.
It's already there, so we reduce our cost of running the pipe and right-of-way access.
Also power, which is a big expense. So he was very enlightened to talk with him. He had a lot of, and they're working on a presentation or a draft now for contract, and I should have it this week and bring it to.
This is Dr. School
Dr. Sproul.
working with Green Engineering. Or is he working-
Yes, Green Engineering is, well, there's representative of Green Engineering was there, but it was just as the information, but they were there at the meeting.
Very good. Thank you.
Any other questions? All right, we're gonna move on to number 5 for right now, meetings with Newland Province Volunteer Fire Departments.
Yes, since, brought to my attention, since we are changing the flows up in the north part of the county, there's 2 fire departments, Newland and Providence Fire Department, that will benefit from this. Green Engineering actually did a hydraulic study for us at each hydrant, and they had the data. And what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna get the data, put it in a more easily format, and at that time, I'll have a meeting with each fire department, both fire departments individually, probably, and show them what they have now, what they will have when we put the temporary pump in, and then what they will end up with when we get the permanent pump.
Oh, that's good, so you'll have it kind of staged out.
It'll be staged out.
Okay.
And then after we do the permanent pump, that will tell us where we need to, in the future, where we need to spend money to, there's some piping in that area that we'll need to be able to do to short stuff. But it will be, like I said, it's going to be staged out.
That's good.
But it will be numbers they'll be able to see.
I know, speaking with each of those departments fairly recently, and they're on, they should have that information, so.
And then we have the data we've already paid for, it's just I need to put it in format more easily recognized for them.
And that's based on water demand for the fire.
Yes, flow rates of the
Flow rates of the
It's flow rates of the GPMs. And residual pressure is also good.
We can find out from the get-go.
All right, if there's nothing else, we'll go ahead and go into closed session.
Do you want to do just how many we got in the basics and open, and then we'll go,
Okay.
okay, just a little bit, and then, thank you.
Mr. Chairman, we put out the request for proposals for the water rate study. We both posted, of course, on our website, and then we actually sent it out directly to about 25 firms. We did receive 3 proposals from Raftellus, McGill, and Green Engineering.
Hey, I've got some comments on those, I think it'd be appropriate for closed session.
Okay. All right, we'll go ahead and enter into closed session for attorney-client privilege.
Mr. Chairman, make a motion that we go into closed session for attorney-client privileges recommended by the attorney.
And second. All those in favor?
Not